I'm 94 years old, and I was married to the same woman for 65 years. And if you ask me what the secret to a long marriage is, I tell you something you probably don't want to hear. Most of the time, it doesn't feel like love. Not the kind you see in movies. Not the kind people talk about. Not the kind where you look at each other and feel something every single day. No. There were years where I sat across from my wife and felt nothing. Not anger, not hate, just nothing. And if you've never been told that before, you might think that means something is wrong. You might think you chose the wrong person, or that something has faded away. But I'm telling you, that's where the real marriage begins. Because everything before that was the easy part. When you're young, when everything is new, when life hasn't pressed down on you yet, anyone can feel in love. But life doesn't ask for permission. It just comes. And it hits you all at once. A baby crying at 3 a.m, bills stacking up, work that drains you, days where you're too tired to even speak. And one day, you sit at the table, look at the person across from you, and realize the feeling is gone. That's the moment most people panic. They think, this isn't what I signed up for. This isn't how it's supposed to feel. And so they leave. They go looking for something new, another spark, another beginning. But what nobody tells you is that spark always fades in every relationship. Not because you chose wrong, but because feelings were never meant to stay the same forever. They come, they go, like weather. And if you build your whole marriage on something that changes like that, it won't hold. I'm not saying this to take something away from you. I'm saying it so you understand. The problem isn't the person beside you. It's what you expected from them. You're waiting for a feeling that no marriage can sustain forever. And while you're waiting for it to come back, you let something far more important slowly disappear. Trust, familiarity, a life built quietly over time. You didn't lose love. You just lost the easy version of it. And if you don't understand that, you'll spend your whole life chasing something that was never meant to last. Let me tell you something about a time in my life I'm not proud of. There was a winter when everything fell apart. Work dried up, money got tight, and I was a man who measured his worth by what he could provide. So when that was gone, I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't handle it well, not even close. I got angry, short-tempered, distant. I drank more than I should have, snapped at the kids, took things out on the one person who didn't deserve it. I wasn't showing up for that marriage. I wasn't giving half. I wasn't even giving a little. I was dragging it down. And you know what she did? She didn't lecture me. She didn't sit me down and tell me everything I was doing wrong. She didn't walk away. She just stepped in quietly, without making a show of it, without needing credit. She carried us. She found work when I couldn't. She stretched what little we had further than I thought possible. She kept the house together while I was falling apart. And she put up with me at my worst, not because I deserved it, but because she had decided she wasn't going anywhere. That's the part nobody talks about. They tell you to find someone who makes you happy, who completes you, who feels like home. But they don't tell you what happens when you become difficult to love, when you're not at your best, when you're not easy, when you're not giving anything back. That's where most things break, because people expect balance. They expect fairness. They expect things to even out. But life doesn't work that way. Sometimes it's 90-10. Sometimes it's 80-20. And sometimes you are the one bringing almost nothing. And in those moments, what keeps two people together isn't a feeling. It's a decision. She chose to stay. She chose to carry more than her share. She chose to wait for me to find my way back. And I did. Slowly. Not all at once, but I did. And I never forgot that. Not for the rest of my life. And like I said, the balance always shifts. Life has a way of evening things out. Not quickly, not gently, but eventually it does. Years went by. Things got better. Work came back. The house felt steady again. We found a rhythm. And then one day, everything changed again. She got sick. At first, it didn't seem like much. Just tired. A little weaker than usual. Something you could explain away. But it didn't go away. It got worse. Slowly, and then all at once. Doctors, appointments, words we didn't want to hear. And suddenly, the woman who had carried me could barely stand on her own. That's when it became my turn. There was no discussion, no plan, no question, just a quiet understanding. She needed me the same way I had needed her. So I stepped in, not because I felt strong, not because I knew what I was doing, but because there was no other choice. I helped her walk, slow steps, careful steps, holding on like she once held on to me. I made her meals, simple things, things she could manage, things that reminded her she was still here. I sat with her on nights when she couldn't sleep, when the pain was too much, when the silence felt heavy. And I listened, not fixing, not solving, just being there. There were moments she didn't recognize herself anymore. Moments she felt small, fragile, lost inside her own body. And I remember looking at her in those moments and seeing something I had never seen before. Not weakness, not loss, but a different kind of strength. Quiet, unspoken. And I realized something then, something that stayed with me. Love doesn't disappear when things get hard. It changes shape. It becomes something deeper, something quieter. It's not in the words. It's not in the feelings. It's in the staying, in the showing up when there's nothing left to gain, when it's not easy, when it's not fair. That's what holds it together. Not perfection, not balance, but commitment through whatever comes next. We put a lot of pressure on marriage these days, more than it can carry. You expect one person to be everything: your partner, your best friend, your therapist, your source of happiness, your sense of stability. That's too much weight for any one human being. And sooner or later, something gives. Then people start keeping score. Who did more? Who gave more? Who tried harder? Who cares more? But the truth is, it was never meant to be equal. Not every day, not every year, not even every season. There are times when one of you carries more, and times when the other does. And if you're both waiting for it to feel balanced all the time, you'll always feel disappointed. Because real life doesn't move in straight lines. It shifts. It leans. It bends. And a strong marriage learns how to bend with it. The things that actually hold it together aren't the big moments, not the anniversaries, not the vacations, not the pictures people see. It's the quiet things, the small habits, the things nobody talks about. Knowing how they take their coffee and making it without asking. Sitting next to each other without needing to fill the silence. Understanding their moods without them saying a word. It's looking at a person and seeing all of it. The good, the difficult, the parts that don't change, and still choosing to stay. Not because they're perfect, not because it's easy, but because you've decided this is your person. Not the ideal version, not the one you imagined, but the real one. And over time, that choice becomes something steady, something reliable, something you can build a life on. So if you take anything from this, take this. Love is not something you feel every day. It's something you choose over and over again, especially on the days when you don't feel like it. That's the part nobody tells you. They tell you to follow your feelings, to trust the spark, to chase the excitement. But feelings change. They always do. They rise. They fall. They disappear. And if you build everything on something that's unstable, it won't last. What lasts is what you decide when the feeling is gone. The mornings you wake up and choose them, even when it's quiet, even when it's hard, even when nothing feels special. That's what builds something real. Not a moment, not a spark, a life. I didn't marry a soulmate. I married a woman, a real person, with flaws, with moods, with days where she wasn't easy to love, and she married the same. We weren't perfect, not even close, but we stayed. And over time, something changed. Not quickly, not all at once, but slowly, through years of showing up, through years of not leaving, through years of choosing the same person again and again. That's what people call love. After it's been tested, after it's been worn down, after it's been rebuilt. So if you're sitting there right now, next to someone, wondering if this is it, wondering if something is missing, wondering if you should walk away, stop, take a breath, and look again. Not for the feeling, but for the person, the one who stayed, the one who showed up, the one who is still there. And then ask yourself, not how you feel, but what you're willing to choose. Because in the end, a long marriage isn't something you find. It's something you build, one day at a time, one decision at a time, one choice to stay.